Hello friends, and welcome back to my hobby home. My name is Kathy. Thank you for joining me today. Today is Vlogmas day 7, I believe. And I'm working on, I was going to get this done without you guys, but I was like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's get this done. We are putting, or I am putting the borders on my, what is this called? A snow globe. My little snow globe wall hanger. And friends, I have things hiding from me right now, trying to find my pins. I got my door open, so I'm going to have multiple kitty cats in and out of here today. Trying to get my attention possibly too. So how are y'all doing? I'm hoping everything is going great for everyone today. I think you're going to see this on Sunday, if that's day 7. I think you're seeing this on Sunday. And I'm just doing a real quick little project here because I need to get this done real quick before my grandbaby gets here. Because when he gets here, we are going to see that his mama and daddy have a company party that my daughter works for. One of the doctors is giving a Christmas party. And I told her to go on and go to it and enjoy it because she doesn't get much time away from the baby because her fiance works off. So she's at home with the baby all day. Well, not all day. She works all day, and then she comes home in the evening, and she has the baby in the house and the dog, and she don't get really much of a break. And I can tell here lately she's getting a little overwhelmed. So I just told her I would keep him, and we would go look at the Christmas lights, and we would go watch the flotilla and the fireworks. I told her, I said, just go on ahead. We will be okay. I will entertain him for the night. And her fiance need to go have a good time. Just go have some adult time with friends and just enjoy. So I have probably about an hour before they get here. And I wanted to go on and get this little project done because it may be 10, 11 o'clock before they get home. Who knows? But if it's something I can get done while they're gone, you know, but while I'm waiting, then I'm going to do it. I take every possible minute I can and get something done. And Chloe, I do have your box here ready to ship. I was having trouble with the postal service site. It would not let me pay for your label. And then when I finally could pay for the label, it was after time for me to be able to ship. So your box did not go out this weekend. I apologize. I will get it out Monday. I know I had told you I was shipping it that day. I had not tried purchasing a shipping label yet that day, but something was up with the Postal Service's website that day. I imagine it's that time of year, and there was a lot of people probably trying to do shipping. So, yeah, it did not go out, but I do have it ready to go. I was going to try to drop it off today, but by the time I got to the post office this morning, I say this morning, I had a baby shower at 11 this morning, so it was after that, and they had already closed for the day, so we don't have places that we can drop it off after lunchtime. The baby shower I went to today was one of the daughters of one of my oldest friends that I have. The maternal grandmother of the baby, she and this woman and I've known her since my freshman year in high school. I had moved and went to another school, And she and I became real good friends, and we've been friends since we were 14 years old. And I mean, I'm not going to lie, we lose touch for a while, but we're friends on Facebook, and I know about her monumental life events and grandbabies and things like that. And I try to make sure to be there for all of them, because I don't have to talk to her every day for her to still be one of my best friends. Well, we've got the 2 outer borders done. So now I need to do the top and bottom. I am going to fold this up. How the instructions say on this is to measure it in 3 places. So I'm just really going to measure it through the center. But I do need to open up my borders. I probably need to press my borders out, and I am going to do that. Okay, so we're looking at 30.5 inches. One moment, let me press these borders out. I now have the 2 side small borders put on. So now what I'm going to do is take my longer borders. Now my side borders, they're a little bit longer than the piece was, and this is not very stretchy, so I'm going to go on and cut what extended over my wall hanger. And if I need to trim off on the others, that's fine too, I will. And guys, if y'all stay till the end, I have something I want to show y'all. It is a little bit of a haul. Something I got the other day when I dropped my Cotton Cuts flyaway off. I found something, and I tell you what, it's something new that, well, I'll just show you when we get to it. Close to the end, it is one item, so it's not big enough to call it a haul, but it's big enough to call it new to me and something that we'll get to do. So I'm so excited about it. Yeah, I went on Friday to the quilt shop, and I really wanted to go to the quilt show Saturday, but things kind of got delayed. Things happened, and I didn't get to make it. And I hate that, because I really wanted to go. So friends, are y'all working any of your Advent box projects? I know I did not do the Word of the Day pillow, the Missouri Star Quilt box, day 4 unboxing, or wait, was it? No, it was day 6. It was today's day, or Saturday's day. I know I did not do that one because I have enough pillows, and I really don't like templates. So I will share that in a D-stash. Someone will get that if they're interested in a D-stash, because I'm not going to do it because I do not like templates, and like I said, they're just not really for me. The cat template was really, it was kind of easy because it was big and it was just circles. So, but I hope if you got an Advent box, you are enjoying the things you got out of it. Now, just remember, they try to gear the Advent boxes for everyone, and it's hard to meet everyone's likes. But how I see it, if I get at least 1 to 2 projects that I really like, and I know that's a lot of money to pay for 1 or 2 projects, but there's other things in the box that I like as well. So I wonder if this would be easier without this rounded table on here. I have a foot that guides me at that 1/4 of an inch. Because it feels like it's always trying to slide off the table. Oh, I've got a kitty cat over here. Yeah, you know you're not supposed to be in here. That's the one that I don't normally let in here because she likes to get on fabric, and I don't like for her to get on my fabric. And Oscar, he don't get on fabric. He gets on me. He doesn't get on fabric. He's laying over here on the floor. I'm hoping I can get all my borders on here before my grandson gets here. My daughter said she would bring him when they got ready to go. And she did tell me they would probably leave right at 5 p.m. So it's just a little after 4 when I started recording. So I'm going to press these now so I can start measuring for my wide borders. And friends, I'm thinking I probably shouldn't be pressing this light blue border because it's got that glitter in it and it just does not want to press, and it looks fine, but so now what I'm going to do is measure the sides out again. Let me see if they're both. And I'm not going to do it by the center. Well, I guess I better. I better do it by the centers because we want it all the way across to be the same size. So that's 29¼ inch there. So I've cut 4 strips here. They're all by width of fabric. What I'm going to do is just cut them down. I'm not sewing them to match up, and I'm not doing that. I'm cutting them all down, and then I will cut them down to the size they need to be at because I don't want any seam lines in my borders. I did the same thing for that inner border, that narrow border, because I just did not want to have to trim it down. I didn't want that seam in the border at all. So I'm cutting my 2 sides. And that's all I'll do first is my sides. I won't do the top and bottom until I get the side put on. So now I have my 2 sides ready. And friends, I don't know why, but my hair is getting down in my face today. And I don't like that. So let me see. How do I have to look at this to see how I want this to go. I think this way. Because it's not really directional, but it's kind of directional. So I'm going to pin it on top and bottom. And I'm hoping just to make a quick little project out of this today for y'all. So you can see if you've got a few minutes, you can throw something together here. Definitely a little wall hanger. I am thinking about doing some embroidery wall hangers just as a quick gift for some people that may or may not come in, or be here with the family. I always want to have something just in case they do come, or if you have somebody show up that you don't expect, you always have a little extra gift. That's what we try to do. I remember when my kids were still in high school, we never knew who we was going to have at Christmas time. Because we had boyfriends, girlfriends, friends. Sometimes all would show up, and I can remember what we always did. We would always make sure to buy like the tins of popcorn. So, and I imagine, if they went more than one place, they probably got tins of popcorn anyway. We would get tins of popcorn, tins of cookies. And it looks like I've got like a bright light shining into my camera here. It looks really light, but I don't. I've actually turned all my lights just in case, because they just seemed wrong. And I still have some hazy looking above me, and that's normally caused by a light pointed directly at it. So now we are pinning on the next border. I think this is the way I want it to go. These flowers kind of have a up and down direction, and I'm trying to pin it where when it's opened out, it's up. But if they end up not being the same, it's not going to matter, guys. It really is not going to matter. Now, after I get the side borders, the wide side borders on, I will press these out so I can get an accurate measurement. So here we go. We got that second border on. I am going to press and be right back. So I now have the side borders on. So we are just going to continue and get the top and bottom borders on. I need to see which way I think this is supposed to go. And like I said, it really probably is not going to matter. We're just going to pin on both ends. And I notice you guys can't see what I'm doing here on my table. I don't know why that has happened. I must have, no, I couldn't have hit it. But we are getting right on into this border here. We're doing our top and bottom. The large border, wide border, whichever, outer border, whatever you want to call it. That's the one we're working on. That's the one we're doing. And friends, during this holiday season, this Christmas season that we're having, I'm hoping that everyone is well, safe, warm, or cool. In William's case, those in Florida and California are having some nice warm weather. We enjoy the nice warm weather enough during the summer that we don't want it during the winter. We like this. I like this weather. I can't speak for all people in Louisiana. I like this weather. I love the cool weather. Because my thoughts are, I can always put enough clothes on to stay warm, but I can't take enough clothes off without catching a charge. So we're not into that. So the cool weather is just up my alley. I love it. But I guess I have loved everything about this time of year ever since I was a little girl. I can remember coming over here. This used to be my grandparents' place. I have a small piece of what used to be my grandparents' place when I was growing up. And actually where my house is where I can remember us coming through here looking for Christmas trees. I can remember, you know, my daddy and my granddaddy cutting firewood right here. You know, so I have a lot of childhood memories of where I live. So that just kind of makes it a little more special, you know. And I've always loved, there's something about a fireplace that I've always loved. And I think it very possibly could be because my granddaddy and his brother, Uncle Fred, would sit by the fireplace and, well, my granddaddy smoked, but my Uncle Fred dipped snuff. And he had a spittoon by his chair. And I can remember my mama, if she even talked about it later in life, she would just get so aggravated thinking about it, how they'd spit in the fireplace and spit on the wall or something. They'd miss it. They'd miss. They were two hard-working men. They worked a farm, worked in the fields. had cattle. My daddy had cattle in 4-H growing up. And I actually have a picture. I don't even know where that picture is anymore. But it's of the old home place. And it has pictures of some of, I guess it was my daddy's 4-H cows. And it was Black Angus cows. And it was, I showed, when I went and got the tax assessor's homestead exemption for this place, they still had that picture on file. And I knew the man at the tax assessor's office, and he asked me, he was like, would you like this picture? I'm like, yes, I would love it, because it was my grandparents' old house. And that house is no longer here. Okay, I'm pulling too hard there. Pulling to the left too hard. But that was my grandparents' house, and my daddy, he'd always tell us stories about when my granddaddy and his uncle was building the house. And my daddy was about 8 years old. He said they nearly burnt the house down when they were building it, because my daddy and his cousin had, I think it was fireworks. It might have been close to the 4th of July or something. I don't remember what time of year he said it was. He said, but they were running in and out of the front door, and there was an old, like, burlap feed sack or something over the door, and they had sparklers and caught that back on fire. But it is just so funny for me to hear all these stories, about my daddy growing up, because this place used to be a cotton, not a plantation or anything like that. It's just a farm. But my daddy and, the family ran the farm. The family worked the farm. My granddaddy was a farmer. He worked the farm as much as he could. But then in his later years, when he got to where he couldn't work it, he would lease it out to one of our neighbors. And that, one of our neighbors' family, and they would work the farm. And that family is still leasing the farm. It has moved down from, I guess, the grandfather to the dad, and now to the sons. They're now farming it. Okay, guys, I have my borders. Let me press them, and we'll see what we've got done here. Okay, friends, I finished this just in time. It is less than 5 minutes till 5. I imagine my grandbaby will be here shortly. But I have the borders on my snow globe quilt here, wall hanger. This could even be a little baby throw. Because my grandbabies love themed quilts. They just love it. But thank you for joining me on this Vlogmas Day 7. I hope you've enjoyed it. This is the first project out of the Missouri Star Quilt Company box, the Jenny's Countdown to Christmas. The borders are now on, so all we have to do now is quilt it. I'm going to see if I can figure out how to do that and bring you guys along with me to do it. So friends, thank you so much for joining me. Give me a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do. Feel free to leave a comment and tell me what you think. I do try to respond to each and every comment personally. And as always, until I see you again, I hope you have a very blessed day. Bye, guys.